Facebook has a win for now in its fight against antitrust regulators. A U.S. district court has dismissed the Federal Trade Commission's antitrust complaint against the social media giant, calling their case, quote, legally insufficient. NBC News senior media reporter Dylan Byers joins us now. Dylan, tell us about this decision and what this actually means for Facebook.
Sure. Well, at least in the short term, what it means is that a lot of the pressure comes off of Facebook. What the district judge said in his statement is that the FTC had failed to provide enough facts, to plead enough facts that Facebook actually has monopoly power in social networking. And what that really points to here is not just the failure of the FTC's case, but really the failure of existing antitrust law around social media networks, right? We don't have clear definitions for even how you would define social media networks. So it becomes hard to sort of establish what Facebook's market share is because there aren't even real terms on which everyone can agree. And so I think, what does this mean for Facebook in the longer term? I think what's going to happen now is the FTC is going to go looking for stronger laws, and that's going to mean new laws that are going to need to be passed by Congress to sort of outline what the parameters here are by which the FTC could actually bring a sufficient case before the judge.
And speaking of a sufficient case, I know, Dylan, the judge dismissed a similar case brought by 46 state attorneys general targeting Facebook's acquisition of Instagram and WhatsApp. But they also left the door open to future regulatory moves. So what are the possible next steps in this battle, Dylan?
Yeah, I think there are one of two ways you can go. One is what you're talking about, which is the case that the states brought, which is the question of the acquisitions of Instagram and WhatsApp. And can you point to those as acquisitions that made the market anti-competitive and that somehow harmed consumers? I don't think that's necessarily an easy case to make. I think the strongest footing that the FTC would be on here, or the state's attorneys general, should they pursue it in the future as well, is really looking overall at what Facebook is, not at necessarily just those past acquisitions. And are they so dominant that they are harming competition, which is a case that conceivably the FTC could make. I think the harder case for them to make is, are they harming consumers? And I think that's really going to be the issue that the FTC is going to run up against, because one thing that both the FTC and especially lawmakers are going to consider here is you don't want to go after big tech so hard that you hurt the consumer and that you hurt U.S. competitiveness abroad with other countries like China. And so I would say it's an uphill battle for the FTC. And I would say Facebook right now at least has a breath of fresh air for the foreseeable future.
And a really important distinction you make there about the consumers. Dylan Byers for us. Dylan, thank you.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.